Nidus Breachcast, the world's first identity management app made exclusively for identity experts and product owners, is available in the iOS App Store now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host Adam, CIO and co-founder of Nidus, and today I want to talk about something super important. Should you buy out-of-the-box software or custom develop the solution? This is probably a problem that's gone back since the existence of computers and people buying software, which is, should I buy something that is out of the box and just learn that software and how to configure it to do what I want to do? Or should I just say, screw that, I'm just going to develop this thing myself and we'll just run it, maintain it, and manage it ourselves? There's no right or wrong answer as a global approach, if you will, but there's definitely a right or wrong answer based on your business, how it works, how big you are, all those kind of fun factors. So let's kind of break down when it's okay to custom develop something and when it's not, because I think that's really what it comes down to, because every single salesperson for every piece of software out there is going to convince you that custom developing anything is going to be a horrible idea and that their software can do it out of the box. Of course it can, no problem, we can do this all day long. It's super easy, it's point and click. Look, here's tons of clients that say it's happened before. They're going to feed you all kinds of bullshit to get you to buy their software. And I'm sure you know this, but it's kind of appalling sometimes, the lies that they'll just straight up tell you just to buy their software. But at the same time, they are right. A lot of times when they're saying, oh, if you custom develop, it's going to take so much more time, then you have all these people, and then you're going to forget, and all this. Yeah, they both have the right reasons, but it really comes down to personal choice. So here's what I tell clients all the time when they ask me, should we develop something custom or should we just use out-of-the-box software? Most of the time, I will tell them that they should be using out-of-the-box software as much as possible to the furthest extent that that software is capable of doing whatever it can do without customizing that. And that's where it really comes down to like becoming a problem, because when a salesperson is selling you their software and someone asks, hey, can your software do this? They don't know. The salespeople do not know how the software works. Let's just be very clear, right? They do have no clue what's really going on under the hood. They've never tried to implement it. They've never tried to configure it. They've never used it themselves. They've been told speaking points and selling points. They've probably read the pitch sheets and the white papers so that they sound technical. They know what the buzzwords are, and then that's what they're running and selling. And then a lot of times what they'll do is they'll bring a technical pre-sales person there to kind of answer calls. All of them are there to sell you the software, right? So they're all there to basically say, yes, it can do it to the furthest extent that it's not 100% a bold lie. And even then, that happens all the time. So here's what happens. Client says, hey, we have this weird use case and we need something that will solve this problem, doing all this weird stuff. Can your software do that? Now here's what's going through their head. For at least the technical person that knows better. Sales guy is just going to say yes, because they just want the money. They don't care whether it's right or wrong. But the technical guy is going to say, okay, he asked me, is it possible to do this? And the answer is one of two things. Either, yep, oh yeah, right out of the box, you do this, this, and this, and that's exactly what it does. Okay, cool. There's a very truthful, honest, yes, it can absolutely do that. Now here's where the kind of the dishonest, but it still is yes, happens. Can your software solve this crazy use case? And then technical engineer is going to go, well, if I create a custom plugin, and I have these custom iteration scripts, and I put in this custom WAR file to do this or that, or I write this whatever, like all this custom work, but it's all within the software. So is that software performing the solution to the problem? The answer is yes. And that's why they're going to say yes, it can do it. Because technically, with enough time and customizations, that software can do what it is that you want. So he'll confidently say, yeah, it's possible. There's like a little thing you have to do, but yeah, don't worry about it. You can do it for sure. We have other clients that have done it. And they're probably not lying about that, but they heavily customized it. So back in the day, the big rivalry when Oracle Identity Manager came out was Sun's Identity Manager system, because they were the ones just eating market share because they had a very simple system. It worked. It's been proved out over a long period of time, and Oracle's was painfully impossible to install. But they had a massive sales team. Like their sales force was insane. So lots of Oracle Identity Manager was sold, and I was brought in to basically fulfill all the sales people's promises of what it could do, which meant heavy customization. So this reiterates in pretty much any software though, right? And I'm seeing it a lot now where Clients are promised one thing by the salespeople, and the answer is yes, you can do it from heavy customization. Now, you don't want to do that. You do not want to heavily customize any corporate, big enterprise, out-of-the-box software to any major extent. Obviously, there's going to be some little things you have to do here and there, totally fine. But if you have to build some crazy custom flow, or you're talking about making complete external jar, WAR files, whatever, or a lot of heavy customization, you really want to stay away from that. That's, in my opinion, even worse than just writing a custom app. And here's why. If you have any customization in your code of any kind, one little, we're just calling this little thing for JavaScript that's just going to uppercase the thing and send it back. Super tiny, right? When you call support and say, hey, my product isn't working and this is the problem I'm having, they're going to be like, oh, you have this custom workflow, or you have this custom connector, or you have this custom thing, you have this custom whatever. Yeah. Oh, we don't support that. You're on your own. And then they're going to stick by that because that's their rules. And that's pretty much every software vendor out there. As soon as you customize it, you broke the warranty, you cut the seal, you're on your own at that point. So to me, that's even worse, because now it's like, okay, well, yeah, there's some little bit of customization in here, but this part's working. I can't control the rest of the tool, and I don't know what's happening. I need your help. And they're like, sorry, we're not going to help you. So to me, that's super frustrating. So I always tell clients, do not customize the software as much as you possibly can. Try to figure out how to get it to do what it can do out of the box. Otherwise, find another piece of software that will do it out of the box and use that. Don't try to be like, hey, look, we're going to do everything with this piece of software because the sales guy said we could. There might be other solutions out there with other things. Maybe you have to buy something. And then now we get to the other side, which is, well, if that all doesn't work, maybe you should just write a custom app out on its own and you run and maintain that. The downsides are, obviously, you own it, you have to support it, you have to do maintenance on it, security releases, patch updates, all that kind of fun stuff. That is all 100% on you. And to think that the person or persons that wrote this software are going to be around 10 years from now to maintain it and understand it and build upon it, you know that's not going to happen. So what happens is all this software that gets custom built and developed goes into a black hole where it's like, okay, maybe there's documentation on it. 9 times out of 10 there isn't. It's just a code repo. And then when someone says, oh crap, we need you to extend this thing to do something, or there's a security vulnerability and it uses this Java library and that our Nessus scan found, and so it needs to be fixed. Now you got to go, okay, well, what is it written in? It's written in Java. Ah, crap. All of our people are Python developers. We don't have any Java developers because we've migrated off of the old Java stuff that no one likes to write in anymore. We're doing everything in Python microservices. So now you're stuck because you don't have a Java guy, right? I'm joking. Obviously, everyone has a Java person. But you get the idea, is that if you don't have one, now what are you going to do? And so now you got to hire someone or bring in an outside consulting firm. And then either way, they have to get caught up. So they have to download the code, read it, figure out how the whole thing is working, spin it up into a dev server, test this whole thing out, run through the use cases. That's massively time consuming. And then make the updates, check in your updates through the CI/CD pipeline, promote it up through prod, all that kind of fun stuff. Versus if it was just a workflow that you could just copy and paste and, promote that way. So it's not always advantageous to do your own homegrown custom thing. And 9 times out of 10, like I said, I will recommend you use out of the box to its furthest extent possible. Even if you have to do a little bit of customization, you're always going to be better off that way. Rewriting or writing something completely custom from scratch, to me, we have no other option. Like if we don't do this, we're going to have to heavily customize our software, massively extend our AD domain schema, which is, one-way row. We don't want to do that. Like, you only want to do the full custom software solution if there really is just no other option, and you're going to wind up going full custom and an out-of-the-box software, which is going to make your life worse in that realm. That's the only time I'm going to recommend that. So try to stay out of the box as much as possible. If you don't know what out of the box means too, sorry, I'm using this term all the time. I realize maybe there's people watching this, but if you've made it this far, you probably already know because you probably already turned it off. But out of the box just means exactly what it is. When you buy the software and you install it, can it do it with the features without making any customizations? Basically, can you point and click and do what that software is supposed to do and it solve your problem? If it can do it out of the box. And that's what we say, OOTB. You'll see the acronym a lot as well. huge term thrown around, especially in the identity management space, because everyone wants it to work out of the box. Every salesperson says it works out of the box, and every engineer knows it doesn't work out of the box. So it's the constant dilemma we fight, especially as as engineers and architects, whatever. When we come in as outside people, and to these clients where they're already extremely frustrated because they were told it works out of the box and it doesn't, and then they look at us like, "Hey, can you fix this for us?" And we're like, "Yeah, let's fix it." And then we go in and we find out, okay, what you really want is a lot more crazy than what you think. It sounds simple, but it's not. There's a lot of moving pieces under the hood that you're unaware of that have to be modified. So yes, we can do it out of the box, but we're going to have to do a little bit of customization. Oh, can you just write a custom app and do it on the side? And let's just do that because it'll be a lot faster. We could, and it will be faster, but in the long run, your total cost of ownership on this thing is going to be way more money, way more time to maintain over periods of years. And it's not supported by anybody. So if anything were to break, you're really screwed. So we really don't recommend that unless there just is no other option. Like if it's just something completely different, like let's say you have ping fed, ping MFA, and you're like, hey, I want to do a password reset, and I need it to go through someone's Ethereum blockchain smart contract to do it. For some weird reason, you have that as your use case. Yeah, now you're talking custom code. But even then, you could still solve that problem with DaVinci with a custom connector to the blockchain to do it. So I would still say, even in that weird case, you probably still don't need a custom solution. So try not to custom develop anything unless you absolutely cannot do it without heavy customization out of the box that would just ruin your support for the large majority of what you're trying to solve for. I think I've said out of the box, I'm going to guess 50 times. So I'm going to have on a counter here, and let's see how close am I. Because I don't ever want to say out of the box again. Later. Nidus has just created the first iOS app made exclusively for identity management professionals. It's called Nidus Breachcast, and you can download it now. It's amazing. We have real-time updates of all the latest breaches that are occurring, CVEs as they come out real-time, really pertaining just to identity management. We have media that's going on in this podcast. We're going to be bringing in a lot more others as well. And we even have a complete vendor list of all the identity management vendors and all their products, so you can find out exactly where to download their software, all the documentation. And what's even more awesome is an identity management glossary. All those crazy words and acronyms that we can never remember, they're all listed in there for you. No ads, just pure information to make your life simple.